Oh boy. Woo. All right, this is going to be live reaction, okay? Because every SOB is innocent until proven guilty, right? At least that's how it works here in America. But allegedly, there's lots of money missing from the Lawrence brothers. So I'm just going to go over both of them and just kind of ask the question, does it seem fishy? If it smells fishy, it might be fishy. There's just definitely more that we should probably think about, but crazy drama for sure. In such a small sport where everybody knows each other, things normally are done a little bit differently in pretty much every other sport. So let's get going. All right, by now everybody knows what's going on. Is the probably most popular, between Deegan and the Lawrence brothers, most popular 450 rider. That's what I'll say. Most popular 450 rider, Jet, and his brother Hunter have fired their agent, right? And Vital, on ironically their weekly news show, as soon as I posted mine, all this stuff came out that there was a misrepresentation and misappropriation of funds. And so they have now fired Lucas Myrtle, and then his agency,
Related to one of our
Osserman, has also fired him, which is crazy because if we just think about this, this is a $1 billion sports agency. So that's number one. That's the big one, where that's something where I don't believe a big sports agency is going to fire somebody unless they actually have some sort of proof. But let's just say, everyone is innocent until proven guilty, right? And let's just say, because we all know usually if you're in a situation where you may have done something wrong, well, to defend yourself, what do? You're the first one to file a complaint or something because it just looks better in court. And that, to me, is what potentially Lucas Myrtle's partners, Jacob Hayes and Travis did, right? But there is something to be said with the big Wasserman, because like in traditional business, there's an internal investigation that goes on and everyone is involved before anything kind of goes public. And to me, this seems very trigger happy for the Lawrences just to write out, just boom, just, all right, hey, this guy stole money from us. We fired him. We want the statement to be made. And so that kind of gets me asking, we all know what happened in Australia, and it was all contracts, right? Allegedly, from what I heard down under, right? After I was eating my Vegemite sandwich. Speaking of my quick Vegemite sandwich, this Magic Mind stuff, it's a performance, just vitality shot. Really good. I love this one. This one I use to go to bed, right? Because it helps me fall asleep faster and I wake up more refreshed. It actually tastes pretty good. So you can use my link down in the description. It's magicmind.com/Hopper January for 45% off. It's good stuff. But I'm digressing. Getting back to my point with what happened in Australia. It left a sour taste in the Lawrence brothers, right? Because their contracts supposedly prevented Anderson and Barsha and Deegan to come over and race, right? And I don't necessarily believe or have strong, irrefutable evidence that the Lawrence brothers were like, hey, Lucas, let's put this in here. Let's put this in there. So there's possibly, the allegations that they're upset about that, right? And then now we twist into this misappropriation of funds. Because here, let's go into the quick statements of the individuals. Because what is Lucas supposed to do? He's supposed to defend himself, right? That's what anybody would do. That's what I would do, right? However, I mean, the big issue here is his agency not being behind him. So this is my point. And where I'm sort of going with this is it just seems fishy. Again, there's no proof. He's innocent until proven guilty. Sounds like there is some evidence out there. So at this point, since it's public, now I'm sort of expecting the Lawrence brothers and Travis and Jacob and Wasserman to actually show proof of, no, look, this money was transferred and this is what the contract said, and it was missed. It was misplaced, misrepresented. Okay. And I'm leading or alluding to what happened in the Oz X to sort of lean me one direction. And we have no reason not to believe the Lawrence brothers as well, because of the sheer fact that they're the writers. They didn't go to law school, right? They're not the ones doing an internal investigation. So they're just meant to write. They hired somebody to represent them. And we've seen time and time again when you were convicted by my media. I understand, man. Okay, but I'm reading some of the comments here. My point being is there's no reason to not believe them. Okay. And it looks bad for Lucas, unfortunately. So this is what he said. And we have to give it up to, this is the guy that kind of transformed being an agent for writers. I mean, as a privateer, it's astonishing to find out that there's so many guys that have agents. You know, I personally, for a while, I didn't believe the sport was big enough to need that stuff. Silly me, right? Silly me. Professional sport. Of course, they have agents, and Lucas Myrtle has made millions and millions of dollars from doing stuff. He's the big guy behind getting them the Red Bull deals and the donut stuff and whatnot, right? He's a good guy to have in your back. And for that, he's the best agent in the moto industry. So for that, again, I use that word a couple times, you probably have a pedestal that you're sitting on, right? And sometimes when you fly too close to the sun because you think you can't get knocked off, you burst into smoke. And that's sort of what this happened. So on the outside looking in, it seems like he's in a big load of poo-poo. But he says, I woke up this morning and blindsided. No one spoke to me. No one even asked my side of the story. That's where I'm going. Why wasn't Wasserman having an internal investigation? Or is this just allegedly him coming out just saying, hey, I didn't do anything wrong. What's going on? So again, my initial reaction to this is fishy. And he's going, there's multiple people that have access to these accounts. How would I be able to even get away with this? Is essentially what he's saying. Right. And this is more like a Twitter post rather than, it's just weird having it screenshotted. And he said, I'm a good man and I've done so much for the family and athletes and not saying anything wrong. Okay. And moving forward, this is his final statement. Okay. He says, after yesterday's ambush and public hanging of the accusation, not conviction on the ability to defend myself, the true crime taking place isn't an accusation rather than reality and true embezzlement. A little bit of this, the grammar isn't the best. It's almost like I wrote it. And he's no doubtably in a state of he's panicking, right? And this is the worst day of his life. And again, total blindsided. So you do sort of feel for him. However, if it has any leverage of being true, it's kind of a problem. So here he's like, don't look away. This is by design. I'm essentially being framed. I was with Wasserman for 11 years. Dun, dun, dun. And he said that he had an agreement that was guaranteed millions with 5 years with Wasserman. Okay. So to me, that is saying, awesome. Wasserman is the guy that probably gets a hold of the funds, and then it's up to them to distribute the funds to Lucas. That's what I'm reading, right? That is what I'm reading here. And and so this is, yeah, this is what's interesting, okay, is he didn't completely deny what the Lawrence brothers as being false, right? There's a misappropriation of our personal funds. And in his statements, he pretty much on his Instagram says yesterday they inherited 1.7 million in contracted revenue per year without my salary to pay against it. And boom. So he's making it seem like that was it. Okay. So Wasserman inherited $2 million without paying a salary. So is that where I'm alluding to that this was, in his eyes, money that was owed, right? But again, there's a way of going about it if you're dealing with this much money. That's where I'm getting at it, is it just seems fishy where this is what it's all about. The really pulled off here is they got out of my deal. Yesterday, they inherited 1.7. So was the truth being told that, let's just hypothetically, right, say that, okay, on paper, right, we're just using theoretical numbers here. All right, Lucas, we're Wasserman. You hired the Lawerence brothers. You're going to get $5 million for the next few years. Okay. And then their paycheck in their fine writing is we get 1.7 of it. So they take it. And Lucas Myrtle's over there. We're like, well, I still need to get paid. So he gets paid. And maybe he told the Lawerence brothers, hey, you guys are supposed to get $4 million or whatever. But after Wasserman already takes 2 out, there's only 3 left. Then Lucas is like, well, I got to get paid. So now the Lawerence brothers are left with $1 million. I'd be pissed, right? That's sort of my thinking here, is everyone just, it wasn't clean cut. This is the problem I have with Steve Jobs. He says the key to excellence is simplicity. When things get convoluted with all this fine writing, and that's where I go back to what happened in Australia with the fine writing that, like, hey, these certain riders allegedly won't get paid if they show up to race, right? That's just this fine wording in contracts, which in my opinion is BS. Why can't we just have a 1-page contract? Okay. I get 10% of anything that I deliver to you. If you sign a Red Bull deal for 10 million, okay, I am getting $1 million. Boom, clean, done and dry. And then with his agency, they sign something with him saying we get 5 of that. So they get $500,000. But it seems like there's much more than that. And you guys are all about Bitcoin. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's over 105,000 right now. It's still doing good. I'm more worried about Ethereum, right? Trump just signed the crypto reserves here. However, that is what I wanted to go over with, is it just seems a little fishy because he's not denying it. And then he says that make sure you congratulate Travis and Jacob this weekend when you see them at the races. Is this the first one? Or is this the second one? Dun, dun, dun. And then he goes on to kind of say to hopefully Jacob and Travis kind of renegotiate the deals. And at this point, yeah, I would definitely renegotiate the deals with everyone. Okay. But it seems like I want to say miscommunication on everybody's part here. It should be cut and dry, especially when you're in control of that much money and the highest paid athlete in our sport. It honestly gives a sour taste in my mouth about what's going on, because truthfully, the Lawerence brothers should be the highest paid athletes. And truthfully, so should Lucas Myrtle. Lucas Myrtle should be the highest paid agent because he's representing the highest paid athletes. But this is where I think there should be some transparency in the sport, where it should just move on. And however, I don't think that how this information was delivered to us was, yeah, I mean, now what we're expecting is we are expecting more evidence to come out publicly as what's going out. As of right now, everything is looking real bad for Lucas. And of course, you stick behind the Lawerence brothers because they're the ones that are missing funds. That's what's sad. And since, dumb segue, this is not good. Though Pierre is stepping down as CEO from the financial struggles. He's got a big appointment to be made at the end of the month. And this is not a good sign. It is not a good sign that you have the owner basically going, all right, they're trying to clear the name. They're trying to clear the name and start over. I get it, publicly going out there and doing it. So that's how it should be perceived. But that is the news. I want to know what you guys think about this whole thing as well. Who's your opinion? Are you on the Lawerence brothers side, or are you on the agent side? The big caveat here is Wasserman releasing him, right? So that, to me, on the outside, says that there is more information that is yet to be shared. As I've got many people blowing up my phone saying he's being framed, right? And then I got other people saying that he's trying to clear his name. And so it's hard to know, but the evidence that we do know is $1.7 million is somewhat missing. And Lucas Myrtle is no longer representing his agency or the Lawerence brothers. So that's 3. So right there is not a good look. There's funds that are missing. Were they owed to Wasserman, or were they owed to Lucas, or were they owed to Hunter? That's where the convolution comes in, is where's the clear writing? Okay, who is supposed to get what? And it opened up a big can of worms, which personally, as a fan, we probably didn't need to know any of this stuff. We just want to focus on racing, and the Lawerence brothers are the ones that had a statement that said, hey, this is it. This is what's going on. Boom. That's what started it. And to be honest, there's no such thing as bad news. Everyone is talking about this. To me, this is like a slip out of the Deegans, where it's like, hey, let's use this to our advantage. And, and also you almost want to think about politics, right? When it is turned the narrative, because a little bit of the narrative was at the beginning of the race, talking to the Lawerence brothers at the press conference and just seeing their tone. They were going, everyone hates us. Everyone hates us. America doesn't like us. They're booing us. It's because what we did in Australia. And allegedly, that's kind of what was written in the contracts by their agent. And so now it's turning the tide from, hey, what you guys did in Australia was wrong, to, oh my God, we feel sorry for you, right? So in that mind, it's honestly, from a PR standpoint, it was a perfect scenario to release this so that you just change the narrative, because we live in a world of social media, which is just crazy. Anyway, I'm trying to read all the comments and do all this stuff here. But hey, let's focus on the race this weekend. And I will be at the race next weekend at Glendale. So if you see me, make sure come take a selfie. I'll post it to my socials. And I appreciate everything you guys do. Make sure you hit the subscribe and like button. And also let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Till next time. Yeah, Dozer, I believe that as well.